Hey, hey, beat baseball world. Welcome back to the Beat Ball Blues Show, Deal Dog. And I'm back here with Bam Bam. Hey, Seth Dog.
I know, like it's been a minute, huh? Been a month
Did you
or
miss
two.
more than one? I don't. I honestly, they all blend together. Sometimes people are like, "Hey, what do you do on your show?" Like, man, I don't know. They're like, "What do you mean you don't know?" It's like, I mean, I could tell you pretty much everything we've done since the World Series, what order we did them in, or what was the last one. I don't know, but I know you missed the last show. Did you miss more than the last show? I don't
Well, I
even
had
know.
to I had to bail out of one because my with Greg and them, Greg and
That was the last show.
that was the last show. No, the
Yeah.
last show was the Philly Fire show, right?
No, Philly Fire.
No,
See,
I'm
this
sorry.
is
The
what I'm saying.
No,
Philly
no, no, no.
Fire, a
You're
long
wrong.
time
Hold on. No, the last show, and I missed that, was the Boston Strong show,
Oh, you're right. You're right. Oh, we just
and
lost
then
Dima.
and then before that, I missed out. That was the Greg show. I missed that, and I
Yeah.
missed the show before that. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a minute,
I
man.
see, you come over here twice a week now, so I see you so much. I don't feel like I've
Yeah,
missed,
right.
you know what I mean? It's like, I see you all the time. I think you've been doing the show. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know.
No, I have not. I have not. This is my appearance, and hopefully, my internet will stay stable, and so I can appear here and make my presence felt.
Excellent.
Yes.
Oh, we have a cool show that I'm glad we're finally getting in because it's taken like a month to line this up. But we we have a trio from the Gateway Archers, starting with the co-host to the co-host, our man Demo. Welcome back, Demo.
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
You know,
Glad to
Third
be here.
string.
thinking about it, I don't know. I've been worried about being the co-host to the co-host, because Seth gets a little flaky and he's always holding us up. There have been times like, man, might just have to get rid of Seth and bring in Demo because that would serve two purposes. Because Demo could help me. Seth doesn't help with the show too much, really, at all. you you get help get shows all lined up. It took you a month to line up your own team, so I got to rethink things again.
Hey,
Rethinking things.
hey, busy lives, busy lives.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
He tried. He tried.
in all
life is tough.
seriousness, it's kind of an issue with all the teams because it's a busy time. People finally are done with people. You know what I mean? They're dealing with other parts of their lives, and it's now we're approaching the holidays, so it's just a tough time or whatever. So I appreciate people squeezing them in when they can. And that was the voice of Ethan Johnston, who hasn't been on the show over like 3 years. Welcome back, E Money.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you coming on, taking time, spend time with us. Look forward to talking to you about, what's going on with the Archers. Coming on for the very first time is Mr. Rich Krussel. Had a chance to meet you, spend some time with you out at the midnight game. Rich, thanks for taking time to come on with us tonight.
Yeah, what's up? Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Rich is at, what do you say? You're at a soccer game, right?
Just practice.
Oh, soccer
Watching some
practice.
8-year-olds kick the ball around.
Seth can relate to that.
Oh, I can. No, I gotta say, I don't believe I've ever logged on from practice or a game or anything like that. So
No,
we've
that's
we've actually had them all. Didn't we have somebody who was like in the back of a gym waiting to go watch like their
yeah.
daughter play college basketball or something
her
like
her
that?
game was actually going on. Casey Krause's dad, Patrick Krause,
Yeah, okay.
when we had the fire on earlier this year. That's why I started calling Pat Krause Stairwell Pat because he was sitting in a stairwell while we were doing the show with him or whatever. uh, So, fellas, since this is the first time we've had Rich on, I hope you guys will let us indulge for a minute. Rich, man, I want to get you in first before we start talking about your team, and kind of get some background on you and your, beat ball history, your whatever blind sports history, how you went blind, all that good stuff. What's your background? How did you find our sport?
I was born with congenital cataracts, and there were some complications from the removing the cataracts. Doctor didn't quite know what he was doing, so he kind of screwed everything up. And now I have glaucoma and scarred corneas and stuff like that. So I've been legally blind all my life. Um,
Is
and
the
then,
I'm sorry, but just
well,
about that, the way you put it out there is like the glaucoma is like was caused by.
yeah, it's basically a side effect of everything that happened, all the surgeries.
I didn't realize glaucoma could be a side effect of something. I thought it was like I guess like a disease or something all this time.
It's more of a condition than a disease.
All right. No,
So
I
basically, people who have a lot of trauma to their eyes can develop it, and if you have a lot of surgeries and that kind of thing, people develop it.
I guess that makes a little more sense to me because I guess I've always when people have told me that they had like a detached retina and then later glaucoma, I've always just thought, man, you were double cursed. But I mean, maybe it still is considered that way, but I never made the connection it was a side effect. So you've already
Yeah,
educated me
basically. I mean, I
five
don't know.
seconds in.
I could be wrong, but that's what I understand.
I mean, you lived through it, so I'm going to go with your word.
Hey,
All
and you said the doctor didn't know what he was doing. So it was a doctor's mistake or whatever, or you went to like the
Yeah.
doctor like me
So
who teaches history or what?
when you have cataracts, you remove them. It's a pretty routine surgery. People do it all the time when a lot of older people develop cataracts, and they just take them out and they put in artificial lenses. But what they do is they take them out one at a time. They wait 2 weeks, and then they put in the artificial lens. This doctor, what he decided to do was take them both out at the same time, and then on the same day, without waiting the 2 weeks, he decided to put the new lenses in. And so the little socket that holds your lens, it wasn't healed properly, and that somehow damaged my corneas. Not really sure, but that's what I was told later in life when I,
yeah.
went and told another doctor. When my daughter was born with cataracts too, so she has 20/20 vision now. But
Oh, all right.
yeah,
No, that's crazy.
that's kind of how it was explained to me.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for diving in a little bit. It's hard to interrupt you so quick into your thing, but I
Yeah,
appreciate
no
you
problem.
explaining a little bit. So go ahead.
Oh yeah, so like I was saying, I've been legally blind pretty much my whole life. I came into beep ball 20, I don't even remember what year now, 2010 or 2011, something like that. I was in I was at the Lions World Services rehab program down in Little Rock, Arkansas. Um, and I met a dude named Orlando Dominguez that was playing for the Colorado Storm, and he kept telling me about it. And that's basically I met Demo through him. Went out to Denver and hung out with them a couple times, and they kept pushing me to try beep ball. And then eventually, St. Louis didn't have a team at the time, but then the firing squad got started up in 2010, and I did, I think, 2 or 3 seasons with them. And they never went to the World Series. They only did the regional tournaments. So I would go to those regional tournaments, and I got pretty good at beep ball. Started getting recognized, and Darnell Booker actually told me, you're pretty good. You're winning some awards here. You should go to the World Series. I think there's a lot of teams that would like to have you. So he gave me some phone numbers and encouraged me to go do it. And he told me how it was so fun and so competitive and this and that. So, yeah, I just emailed a bunch of teams, and I wound up going to my first World Series in Ames in 2011. Or I don't remember what year that was, 2012. And I played with the Roadrunners that year. Got to play with Tim Hibner pitched to me that year, and then there was Bobby Lakey and Scott Hudson and Sam McKenzie were all on that team.
It's funny, like you're playing with the team from the '80s, man.
Yeah, no, it was really good for my first season because I learned a lot from those guys.
Yeah, no. It's just the names that you were throwing out were like old school names. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it was all those old school names.
I didn't realize Lakey played there.
Yeah, sorry. And then it was me and Dennis Lynch and a few other young guys that they were all teaching us basically. Drew Burnett was on that team.
That's really
But yeah,
that's
so
a good
I was
history
friends
right
with,
there.
yeah. And since I was friends with Orlando and Demetris, they had me come out to Colorado the next year. And then, I played for lots of years in Colorado. When we split up, I went with the Edge, and now I'm here with the Archers.
You actually ended up answering it on your own, but that was going to be one of my first questions. I not knowing that you spent time with the Roadrunners or the firing squad, knowing that the three of you all have ties to Missouri and that you ended up on Colorado together.
Yeah.
Like I knew the case with Demo and Ethan, but I was unsure on how you ended up in Colorado. How long did the three of you play together in Colorado, Demo?
2013 till 2018. So 6 years.
Right. That's pretty cool. Like I don't know for all of you, I guess, to touch on a little bit. Um, like to have that history. To all of you end up kind of in the right place at the right time to be on Colorado together. And then now, I mean, in 2018, who would have thought there was going to be, the Gateway Archers and them hosting tournaments and stuff for you guys to all be back together in Missouri. I'll start with you, Ethan, man. What do you ever like trip on all those pieces falling into place?
Say that question. Sorry about that. I was getting
Just
yelled at.
excellent. You should have left it unmuted.
Nah.
No, I just like I dig how the three of you like ended up, three people with Missouri ties all end up
Yeah.
playing together in Colorado. And at that time, there's nothing going on in Missouri, beatball wise. And now, whatever, 5 years later, you guys are all on a team together in Missouri doing it again with Johnny Walker. Like, do you trip on all that or do you just take it by the
I mean,
moment?
it's a great opportunity to have just to be playing with these guys and, to do it. First Colorado and then now back to our home state, Missouri and St. Louis. So it's just cool. And, obviously all three of us know how great performer we are when it comes to pressure time. And so it's good to have it again back together and hopefully we can represent well in the Show Me State. So it's a beautiful thing.
Rich, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really thought about it too much, but it's kind of crazy that we all just were from Missouri. We all came together like that. It's just small world, one of those things. But we had such great chemistry there in Colorado. We all got along so well, and we went to war together on a few games. So we've been through it all together. So it only makes sense for us to get back together and keep it going here. So wouldn't have it any other way.
Demetris? Anything to add?
I mean, no, I just echo what they say. It's crazy how, yeah, we ended up in Colorado. Like Ethan and I was living there, and Richie was in Missouri. But we were all playing for Colorado, and then we got the opportunity to play again with the Archers, our hometown team, and bring it back together and go full circle with it. So it's crazy when you sit down and think about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's cool because I mean, it's not like it's an unusual story as far as beat baseball goes. For a group of players to like Seth and Eric and I were all on the Blaze together, and then later we went and started the Dogs or whatever. But that was all like planned. You know what I mean? I guess this is why your story jumps out at me. Because I mean, a lot of things fell into place for you guys to end up in Colorado playing together, and then had a lot of things fell into place for it to happen again here. So I don't know. That's what.
Yeah, I mean, for sure for me, like I wouldn't even thought b-ball was a sport until I met my agent Demo. He's the one that told me about it, and again, like I thought I was one of those little kids. Oh, you hit the ball, now you go sit down. I never knew it was this competitive. And then my first World Series in 2008 in Houston, and seeing these crazy blind athletes just doing their thing, I'm like, wow. So, yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful sport. I always tell Demo, people as my therapist. I'll go out there, have fun, yell and scream, and I'm screaming and yelling with my teammates. So, and I feel better afterwards. So it's a good thing.
Hopefully your teammates feel the same way after you scream.
That's their problem.
Yeah, that sounds like a them problem. No, the very first year we started the Dogs at one of our early practices, Don Robinson threw something at me that kind of helped me or whatever. As I don't know, I'm not very good at kind of relaxing and taking stuff in or whatever. I don't know. I think I'm better now, but when I was younger, I was usually too tensed up about stuff. And at practice, I was just always putting so much intensity into every attempt or whatever. And Don's like, man, playing games is like living a dream or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like when you're at practice, just try, or whatever, playing the game or at practice, man, let go of all the other stuff. Just try to have fun and kind of live the dream. Games are something you do like as a kid or whatever. So, I don't know. I don't, so 30 years ago, so I don't even totally remember exactly how he said it, but I do remember that, like, I took that in or whatever and just tried to make it fun. You know what I mean? Make sure kind of enjoy the moment. I don't know how good I was at it. So speaking of the moment with the with the archers, let's before we go forward, let's go back a little bit. I'll even, I guess, throw out there a question about the last 2 years. So I don't feel like I have at any point attacked the archers, but I don't know. I've been open about the fact that I felt like you guys, and I think all of you would agree that you underachieved in 2022. And I wouldn't say you underachieved this year, but I don't know. I believe in your roster even before the new additions. Again, we could talk about what's coming up for you guys going forward, but I believe in the talent you guys have on your roster. So I certainly thought you could have finished quite a bit higher in 2022, and I think you guys had the talent to finish a little bit higher this year. Do you guys think? I'll ask you first, Demo. Do you think I'm being harsh when I'm expressing that on the show or at the? I don't know. I was worried when I did because I was invited by Mind's Eye to do the virtual press conferences. And I talked about that a little bit in my questions, and I don't know. I didn't know how. I was worried ahead of time of how that was going to be taken. Like I'm being too harsh towards you guys, but it's not out of. I don't know. I just think the talent's there for you guys to do better, have done better. Do you agree? Disagree?
Oh no, I totally agree. 22 for sure didn't go the way we planned. That was Ethan and I's first year with the team. To add to the pieces that they already had from 2021, where they played well first year out, finished ninth, had a winning record at the World Series. We definitely did not go into 2022 and have any thought that we would finish 13th. So that sucked.
And for the record, I know it's not that simple. Like, what I mean. They're right opening on the very first day. You guys had, including yourself, had a couple injuries, got a little banged up, and you guys lost a game to Austin by 1 run. So, and they ended up going on and finishing third. So, I don't know. It's not so simple as just like, oh man, they suck. They're only 13th. I mean, you weren't way out of it, but. Still,
but still, what you were meant to say was 13 is still 13, and Demo obviously recognizes all that. But what about this year? Did you think you underachieved at the the 2023 World Series? Or obviously, everybody wants to win, so anytime you don't win, there's that sort of feeling. But
Yeah. No, this year me personally, yes, I felt like we underachieved. For the simple fact that we came in ninth and we came into the World Series as a fifth place team. We had the talent. Um, things happen in the World Series that were out of our control, but I don't think we were looking to come into 2023 and come out with the ninth place finish, but that's what we got. So, it is, I mean, what we got is what we got. Whether we deserved it or not, it's what we got. So, no, yes, we underachieved.
As Bill Parcells says, you are what your record says you are.
Rich,
but also,
you have any thoughts?
Ethan, Richie, whatever. You guys can throw it.
Go, Rich.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, and anytime you're not first, you're last. So I mean, we underachieved.
Hey, I always say, or you're tied for second if you're an optimist. Tied for last, I mean, tied for second.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't kick myself too much about the ninth place because somebody had posted it a while ago. It was like we had a 5-4 record or something like that, or 5-3. And the team ahead of us had like a 4-6 record. It's just kind of the way that the tournament fell. So we don't look at that too much. We know what we need to improve. We know what we did good in. It was just kind of the luck of the draw. The whole deal with the heat and everything, the heat advisory, kind of screwed us up. But not making excuses. Just get ready for next year.
Now, it's definitely been a common theme from not just your team, amongst your at least the third team that have showed dissatisfaction in how it played out. Not everybody's like blaming it on anything necessarily, but it's just unfortunate the way it played out. Ethan, you have any additions?
I mean, it was well said, honestly, and then especially last year, definitely we underachieved, but this year is just stuff that you cannot control. You just got to go with the flow and know that everybody's trying to keep everybody safe in this crazy heat, and shit happens, and like everybody says, oh, wait till next year, and reload and come at them again.
Demo, you were trying to jump in?
No, I was just gonna say that there were a lot of good games that were screwed up because of the heat advisory and having to change the way we normally play beat ball. So we weren't, like you said, we weren't the only ones that got messed over.
Yeah. Rich had mentioned the records, and how like people finished in different spots. And I remember reading a post in Beat Ball Nation about like, how can this team have this record and finish ahead of this team that had that record? But I mean, the records include the round robin, which really has nothing in the end, doesn't have anything to do with the championship per se, the championship round record wise. And then it also includes the placement games. So do you agree, Demo, that like I don't think it's as simple as just throwing the records out there and saying, how does this make sense? Because they're not factoring in round robin and placement games. Do you?
It's when the team it's just about when they get certain, if they got couple wins, when they get those wins, like for instance when the Hurricanes upset Bayou City on Wednesday, that changed their projection of their tournament and allowed them to finish 8th with a 3-5 record. So it's just all about when you get your wins. Yeah, like you said, it has nothing to do with the round robin or placement games. Just if you can get that key victory throughout the week.
Right. So let's circle around then going forward. You guys made a lot of additions, and man, Demetris, I hate to like put you like on the hot seat, but I've got to ask, how the team, when there's only two people really who do breaking news. I mean, people like me have tried it and messed it all up. It's just you and Cooter that do the breaking news. Yet it's not you breaking news about the Gateway Archers, your own team. How did you not get your own team story? That was my first question.
Hey, it's not my job. My job is to show up and play. I let the management handle all the logistics off the field.
Fair
Mike and
enough.
his PR do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
Mike has
Mike Curtis and his PR, they do. Mind's Eye is as good as any team at getting material out there. But Demo has an obligation to the Beatball Blues show. He should have brought that story here.
Hey,
I'm just
when
playing.
When Mike say it's cool to speak on it, then we speak on it.
Mind's Eye does really do a good job with promoting. I think both the Mind's Eye teams or teams that are associated with Mind's Eye, Gateway and the Sirens, are both good at promoting their teams. Got a Siren shirt on right now as we speak. So let's talk about the additions. You guys made some big additions. Ethan, man, you've been around for a while. You know the kind of talent you're bringing in. You just had an all-star season, then you bring in some all-stars to play along next to you. What are your thoughts on the Gateway Archers roster as it's shaping up now?
I mean, they're all great additions, like you said. It's exciting. And it makes the coach's job harder because you got to put those puzzles together to build that chemistry to be, competing on Saturday. So, our player's job's easy. When your number is called, go perform. That's it. And then it's the coach's job to put the puzzle together and make sure the right products is on the field to perform, and to also make sure that everybody has plenty of rest. And when it comes to Friday, Thursday, and Friday and Saturday, the best players play, and hopefully Show State could have a parade, and then I can get my next max contract.
From Mind's Eye, or are you going to be looking to go make another super team?
No, I think the contract's so good, I'll probably stay home.
I meant to ask this earlier when you mentioned that Demo's your agent.
Yeah.
Demo, are you only working for Ethan, or are you the one that's getting all of these additions? They're big money that everybody's talking about on Beatball Nation.
No, man, I got Ethan. Everybody else on their own.
And do you get?
He recruited me straight out of Africa. He did all. He paid for my green card,
like
on my
John
visa,
Grisham
and everything. Yeah.
Make a movie about it, man.
It's like the beatball version of the air up there.
The air up there
with Kevin Bacon.
I made the John Grisham book joke because he did write a book about a player from Sudan that came up and got drafted into the NBA and all that stuff. I can't remember what it's called though. No, it was a fictional story.
Oh, I gotcha.
It was a fictional story, but he said he did base it on a lot of stuff like he had gotten like from agents and stuff. I guess like there's like some truisms on like the road. I guess I can't remember. I read it a while ago.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the book. I like the book though. It was a good book. Kruss, man, what do you got to say about your new teammates and the direction the Archers are going?
I mean, I'm pretty excited. I mean, I know what they bring to the table. I know that, kind of like Ethan said, we gotta figure out how we're gonna put these pieces together and build a good chemistry. But yeah, I mean, it's all towards the goal of, not coming up short this year. I know I haven't. Probably a lot of people don't know this, but I played all of last year injured. So it was pretty hard for me. There was a couple of games there I was hurt and I had to take myself out, and finally have some backup on this team and some reinforcements is going to go do a lot of good for us.
What was your injury and how are you healing up?
So I had three hernias.
Oh
Um,
man.
there's a couple of games there I could barely walk, but I had surgery back in October, and I had 6 weeks of recovery, and so doctor just cleared me to start exercising again. So I was in the weight room yesterday, doing sprints today, so I'm getting to
Yeah.
work.
Jumping right back into it. That sounds very painful, though. I can't imagine swinging a bat with one hernia.
It was not fun.
Oh, so I feel for you. Ethan, were you trying to jump in there?
Yeah, I was gonna say back to Rich's point. The key to beat ball is having depth, and with Colorado, when we were in third place 3 out of the 4 years, whatever it was, problem was we always didn't have enough depth. So all the starters going from Tuesday all the way to trying to make it on Saturday, and so we always fell short. And so I think having this much of talent is going to help us just balance everybody's playing time, and everybody should be injury free and ready to battle. So it's good to have the depth, great talent depth actually.
Because Demetris and I are boys. He sent me an updated depth chart for the Archers. I was surprised they had you listed like third at shortstop, Ethan. Man, you
Yeah,
feel
it's
like
all
that's
good. Long
accurate?
as no, it's fine.
You
All
don't
right.
believe that
Man,
shit. You know better than that. You know better than that. Don't believe that shit.
that's good. Nah, I was like, yeah, what's the best players playing, man? That's it. Somebody else, like Mike Coughlin said, somebody can play better shortstop than me. They can play it there. I can play somewhere else. It's all good. So,
No, actually, congratulations to you making the all tournament team this year on defense. I believe I think Demo told me it was your seventh time making it. Is that right?
I don't even know, honestly. It's a team effort, honestly. It's you have to have good spotters. I probably give myself like a C minus. I didn't play that well. But having good spotters and great coaches believing in you. When you screw up something, they keep telling you keep going. So but again, back to this year, having that much talent. Once if I'm messing up somewhere, plug in somebody else. So no, it's exciting. I'm looking forward to the All-Star game too. So
I think.
it'll be awesome.
I mean, I know you judge yourself harshly for your performance, but I think the fields you guys were playing on, which I was able to get out on a little bit on Friday, and move around on them a little bit, and you guys were playing on really fast fields, so I think anybody that did anything defensively should be given some credit because those weren't defensive fields. Well, yeah, as a defensive player, go ahead, Dima.
After spending the past 2 years in Beaumont, Texas, and Norman, Oklahoma, the next 2 years in St. Louis is gonna be like heaven.
Yeah, it's a beautiful field.
Yeah, you guys got to play on it over the summer, so your response is positive. You think it's going to be a good spot?
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's state of the art soccer facility. They use the same grass that the St. Louis Cardinals use in their outfield for all their soccer fields. So it's nice and it's plush. It's not slow. It's not like Wichita slow. It's still not fast like Norman, but it's not. It plays fair. It plays fair.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. I look forward to getting out there and seeing. After hearing so much about the complex and whatever the tournament coming up over. I don't know. Just I've been around the game since 1986, and the tournament's never been at the same place in back-to-back years. So I'm kind of excited, just as whatever somebody tied to the league so long to see how that plays out.
What's the weather? What can they expect weather-wise?
It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be humid. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be humid.
Oh,
Yeah,
Not much better than Texas.
What'd you say? Not much better or a lot?
Not
better?
much better. Yeah, no, not much.
We're just hoping we don't get a heat wave that week.
Yeah.
If it's just normal temps, we'll be fine. But if a heat wave comes through, then all bets are off.
All right.
I had a phone call with Jason Frazier just a few days after the World Series, and he was like walking to pick up his one of his kids from school, and he was telling me about like they were in a heat wave then. It was like 106. I don't even know what the heat index was or whatever. It's like, woo, this is World Series time. So I don't know wherever we go for the World Series. We're going to be dealing with heat most of the time. Do you guys have any thoughts on the proposed schedule that's been put out? Obviously, that sparked some conversation over the last few days. I'm not trying to start whatever. It's just a proposal. I don't think anybody needs to overreact because it's just a proposal. They're trying to get some feedback on or whatever. But what, Ethan? Did you look at it? You have any thoughts?
I think I saw it come through my feed, but I didn't read it all the way through. So I'll let somebody that saw it speak more on that.
I know you saw it, Demo.
Yeah. When I started playing b-ball, we started on a Wednesday, and now we start playing on Tuesday. So I think it's only evolution that we,
Hey, stop.
start.
What is if you understand the schedule? Could you explain what
Pretty
the
much,
schedule is?
we're starting games on Monday. We're starting games on Monday to eliminate try to eliminate the factor of having to play shortened games like we did this past year.
So
the joy of the Beat Ball World Series back in the day is when it was so physically demanding in a 3-4 day period, Wednesday through Saturday. Now, man, it's
I'll say that was the pride of it. That was not the joy of it. There was no joy. There was no joy in playing 9 games in 4 days.
Oh man, hey, joy, pride, it's all the same thing, man. So,
there's definitely pride to it, but I found no joy in it. Frankly, looking back. So yeah, what they're talking about.
We're gonna get some night games. That's in there also. So
what I guess kind of answering your question, Seth, and anybody else that doesn't know yet. So instead of like 3 games on Tuesday, they're going to do 1 round on Monday night and then just have 2 morning games on Tuesday. And just spacing just using that extra time to kind of space things out a little bit and sprinkle in some night games in there. Seth was over here when that news was breaking out or whatever, and he was sharing what he was reading from the Post with me, whatever. And I told you, Seth, and I've said it on the show. Like the only part about it that I'm disappointed in is I think there should be like an attempt to figure out what kind of rules St. Charles might have, if they have any, like they did in Norman, because those were rules that Norman enforced on the MBBA, and the MBBA didn't know about them ahead of time.
Heat-related rules, right? Like
heat-related rules.
Yeah,
with heat index, or I've never still even been given a clear answer on whether it should have been heat index or the actual heat. But there's a very good chance that either, I don't know if this is a private soccer complex or if it's owned by the county, whatever.
It's a private one.
Okay, so they might have their own rules, but I would like to see the tournament committee go to that complex and find out if they have any rules like that in place, because that's really what we should be planning on, is actual knowledge rather than what might happen. Does that make sense? No?
You would have told us that 2 days ago. I could have brought it up at the committee meeting. I didn't think about it, but yeah, that's a good point, and we'll have to look into that. I know that Missouri does have laws. My wife used to be a girls' field hockey coach, and she's told me that they'd had to cancel games before due to heat. So I'm not sure if that came from Missouri or if that came from the city or the county or the high school commission or whoever, but she seems to think that there will be something in place.
Yeah, and
there has to be.
That's what got me thinking. Yeah, that's what got me thinking about this is when we talked about that what went on at the World Series here on the show. And Seth is a youth football coach, and he's had to deal with that. They have rules that they have to live by, and it's not. I thought maybe it was just like because it's youth. It's like anybody using those fields, or you know what I mean. The people that run the parks and stuff have liability issues. And so that I think that's probably where some of these rules are being enforced by. But I think it would be, and I've been saying this since the World Series. I've said it a few times on the show. I think it would be worthwhile for the tournament committee to go to the people that run the complex as well as the Parks and Rec department and find out what rules they already have into place, because that's what we need to plan the tournament around. That's what could change things. You know what I mean? If we could figure that out ahead of time, that's what we should be looking at making the schedule around.
Neil, I don't know if so you didn't read it online? Oh, never mind. I forgot who posted it. So
didn't get to see it. Blake post.
At the end of the letter from the league, it says, if you have any questions, address them to tournament committee at mbba.org.
Well,
So
that's fair, but I had Cassie and Jerry on the show, and I said it directly to both of them. So that I thought it would be a good idea. So I mean, I kind of addressed the tournament committee in a way, I feel. So I don't know. I mean, they're just my thoughts. I like that they're being proactive and trying to get ahead of this. I just would like to see it because what went on in this case had everything to do with Norman rules. So I think,
also it wasn't this. Yes, this was the first year where we had to, it was heat related,
right?
But this was the first year we had to move games around. The previous year in Beaumont in 2022, there was 4 games played on Friday because of rain.
Rain. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
There's been a more flexibility into the schedule.
That's a fair point. And I did think that as I read through the proposal, because they did mention if there's any, problems with rain or whatever. And it's like, I'm all focused. When I'm talking about this, I am maybe too focused on just like the rules in place and not thinking about the possibilities of rain. Because Beaumont's not the only tournament that's been affected by rain. So I don't know.
Not just the rain, but I think it's also important for athlete safety to have the flexibility. 3 games on Tuesday and then everything else. It can be exhausting, and so many every year somebody gets sent to the ambulance comes for heat exhaustion.
Yeah,
and for preventing injuries and everything else. So I think it's a good idea all around.
I will say the one thing that I really don't like, and I know Axel Cox spoke out against it really quickly, and he's one of the teams that suffered from it, so that probably carried a lot of weight. But their consideration of moving the third place game to Friday evening, I think that's a tremendous disadvantage for the team that comes up through the losers bracket. Especially when you got to go out and play extra games on Friday, not giving them the time to go in the evening, take an ice bath and recuperate a little bit more before getting out and trying to win a championship. And Axel jumped right in. It's like, well, we did it. I don't see a problem. And I love Axe, but I feel like that's kind of tough guy talk in a way. Like, we did it, so now everybody else has to do it. It doesn't mean it's good for everybody. You know what I mean? I don't think that's...
You're saying that it's better to play the third place game on Saturday morning?
No, earlier in the day instead of moving it to a night game. If it has to be moved, it has to be moved, but planning ahead of time to move it tonight is a tremendous disadvantage for whichever team has got to go play the undefeated team the next day. I mean, it's already, you and I talk about it all the time, Seth. It's already a disadvantage for the team that comes up through the losers bracket. Now making them play at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night on Friday and turn around and play Saturday.
You know how you fix that?
How?
Don't be in that game. Don't be in that game. You don't have
Man,
to worry about any of that.
see, you guys that are still playing, man, sometimes always push back that it's a different era, and athletes are different now. And man, I start talking about athletes taking care of their bodies, and you guys get all tough guy about it. It don't matter.
Hey, you guys want to get tough guy, but you still don't want to just play games from Wednesday through Saturday like we used to do back when we were really tough.
Hey, it's this thing called global warming that's happening over the last 30 years.
True. True.
So let me, Demo, man, you're the chair of the rankings committee. You're all tied into that. And I actually, before we wrap up, want to give you an opportunity if you want to, like I meant to say this to you ahead of time in case you want to prepare something, in case you want to kind of address the membership on any of the ranking stuff. I'll give you the opportunity. But focusing on your team, we talked about, that team not finishing as high as what we would think. Like, where do you kind of put your team now with the additions and the changes that are made? I think it's funny. You and I were on Greg Lindbergh's podcast in August, and it's like, it doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of movement. I remember making the joke like, oh man, let's talk again in October. And man, by October, things had changed a lot. Like, not like an exact spot, but how much of a jump, like in preseason rankings, would you say your team has made? Like, what's kind of your expectation?
I mean,
what would be disappointing for the Archers now?
Like, we're a disappointing finish?
Yeah.
A disappointing finish is.
No, I think he's saying like. I thought you were talking about like a preseason ranking.
Well, I did ask that, but I guess I'm not wanting him to have to put a number on it. I guess I re-asked it and say like, what would be a disappointing finish for you?
Oh, anything that's not first place. I don't even play for the Archers. I can answer that
question. Anything that doesn't have us getting fitted for rings at the end of the season is disappointing.
So do you feel like you're a challenger for the championship now with the talent you have?
I definitely think we've put ourselves in that conversation. I mean, we got a lot of work to do. Like the guys been saying, we got to put all the pieces together. That's already started. We've already come together for a practice in October. We got more things coming up. We got our first tournament in Vegas in March. It's a long way away from St. Charles. So yeah, but I definitely think.
So what about a
preseason
ranking? Would you guys be top 3, top 5? If Neil doesn't want you to give us a direct answer, I mean, where you think going into if we were to do the preseason beat ball preseason rankings, where are you putting the
I didn't want to put a bullseye on your back.
This guy is funny.
I feel like there's, if Taiwan comes back, I feel like there's 6 teams that are fighting for that chip next year.
Taiwan throws a monkey wrench in the whole thing.
Yeah, so we're one of those 6 teams. So anything out of the top 6 that would be disappointing.
Give me your top 6
in no particular order.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Taiwan, Jets, Fire, Edge, us, and Thunder.
I was thinking about this earlier today, knowing I wanted to ask you about ranking stuff. It just got me thinking about the rankings. Like I don't. Taiwan's been away so long. It's so hard for me to like give them top six. You know what I mean? I guess we'll have
It,
to learn more about their roster, but
I would say that, but like when they come to play on Saturday, so
yeah,
Yeah, right there.
no, they don't
they
play
they don't
around.
travel they don't travel this far not to play on Saturday.
I mean, I in my mind, I have them like middle of the pack or a little bit higher. But it's so hard for me to like go top six right now in my mind. But we know nothing right now on who could be coming. You know what pitcher they'll have, any of that stuff. Rich, you
It's
have
gonna
any
be.
thoughts on your team next
Yeah, I
year?
was
Where
just
you
gonna
guys
say
could be?
it's gonna be a fun season this year because, like you were just saying, there's six of these really good, highly competitive teams. And the past few years, it's only been one or two teams sitting at the top, and everybody's a tier under them. So there's a big top tier this year. So it's gonna be fun. I think we're gonna be right up in there. It's not gonna be easy, that's for sure, with all that talent we have to go up against. So
I
yeah,
agree
work
with
hard.
you over. I agree with what you said overall. Although this past tournament, I believe I was saying ahead of time, and I felt it coming out of it. I felt like there were four teams this year that in 2023 that were capable of winning the championship.
Yeah,
But
it's starting to get better and better, and that's what the sport needs is more competitive teams.
you go throw a number on it, E money.
Hold on, now I'm on. These fools are anyway. Far as preseason ranking, we're 9. Right, that's
All
where we
right.
finished with 9. That's it. And honestly, I know people like to build up all the ranking stuff, but in order to be a champion, you got to go through everybody. It doesn't matter if
Yeah,
the rank
totally,
10, 20, first, whatever. You gotta be the
totally
top
agree.
dogs to get to the top. So, right now we're ranked 9th because that's where we finished. So, and
I
then
hear
Taiwan
that.
always will come back, come packed and ready to roll. They got speed from 1 through 6 and 1 through 8 technically, and got the best spotters, and they're bringing the best blind athletes from their country. So they'll be ready to roll. There'll be a tough competition for sure. So it's gonna be fun.
Hey, Demetris, I mentioned us being on the Eyes Free Sports podcast. You made a prediction that the Jets were going to win the championship next year. You go stand by that? Just curious. Just curious.
um,
You can get back to me if you need to. Just throwing it out there.
see what had happened was some things changed around, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
I reserve the right to change my mind.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Before I let you guys get back to life, do you want to throw anything out there to the membership about the ranking stuff? Any
Um,
thoughts you want to share, or let it roll for now?
I mean, everybody can look forward to a different way we do rankings next year. I'm gonna try to cut down on the number of phone calls and the length of phone calls. But it's gonna be hard with all the tournaments that are popping up. Like I said, we got a
Yeah.
tournament in March. Oklahoma's putting one on in April. There's talk of 2 Texas tournaments in like April, May. And you got the Bolingbrook and Indy and the Beast of the East. So there's so many more games this season. It's gonna be hard, but we're gonna try to figure it out for everybody.
Yeah, as a member of the committee, I was probably pushing harder than anybody in our last meeting that we need to figure out a way to cutting down the time or the amount of meetings. But like you said, like there more and more games are going to be played this year than were last year. I think it's possible, and that seems
And we and we
impossible.
and we gotta discuss them.
Yeah,
We gotta discuss them.
yeah. There's no easy answer out there. That's why I'm glad you're the chair, not me. Not my problem. That's a demo problem. I just got worried about who's going to be on the show next week and getting Seth here. Those are my only worries. All right, fellas. Well, that's all I got for everybody. Does anybody have anything you'd like to throw out there before we wrap it up?
Thanks, umps. Thanks, volunteers.
I don't think any of the volunteers listen to the show, but we'll try to get people to pass the word on. I don't think
There
any
you
of
go.
the umps listen.
We got to work on our what's that award called? Started early.
Sportsmanship. We got to get the
Yeah,
sportsmanship award.
there you go.
If the Jets can get the sportsmanship award, for sure the Archers can get the sportsmanship award.
100. So, no, thanks for having us on, and look forward to the great season's about to happen. That's all I got.
Bullseye.
Wish you guys luck going forward. Hope you guys didn't get me no trouble, man. Anything to do with the Archers seems to make people mad. Also, I'm gonna start losing friends for having you guys on the show. But
Man, I know, right?
It's those max contracts. That's what it is.
Last year, nobody had a problem with the Archers. Now everybody hates the Archers. I don't know what it is. I don't know what happened.
Can't hate
Well,
you.
if you guys stay at ninth place, nobody will hate you either.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. Like, as long as you stay down there where we don't really got to mess with you, then we love you.
But real talk, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And enjoy your families. And that's it. Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks to all of you. Well, you're going to try to, speaking of Thanksgiving, we're going to try to sneak one more show in before Thanksgiving. So we will plan to see you then. Everybody be well.